Nathan Crampy here. I recently hosted the 8,000 Days of Retirement. Here's a clip from that webinar. There is a final phase of retirement, and this is the solo phase. And this is something that can be very painful experience to go through. Obviously, there's a huge mourning process here, but it doesn't just have to be something that is painful and something that you have to dread. Yes, like I said, this could be a huge period of mourning. And for some of you, you may have been with your life partner, with your spouse, or in one way, shape, or form, not by yourself for maybe 30 years or 50 years. So all of a sudden becoming independent and solo and being by yourself is a huge shift, but it's also one that you can be looking forward to as well. You see, when we are in this stage, it generally means that we've come out of a stage that maybe we weren't able to travel as much or do the things we wanted as much because our spouse was not able to. So that means that now we can be starting over and going through a lot of different phases. Well, again, when we talk about this period of time, we talk about the fact that pretty much all of us will be in one way, shape, or form going through this period of time. So it's not something that we need to be dreading, but it is, again, something that we want to be planning for. And on average, yes, now we take a look at the statistics here, and over 40% of women are by themselves and alone over the age of 75. That's not the statistic that I see the most when I see this card here. The research shows that the age of widowhood is age 59. So when we talk about being in the solo journey, some of you may actually already be in this journey and be thinking about things a little bit differently. So that's incredible kind of aspect that you may not have actually considered could be a good place to be. Well, like I said, this actually can bring you through, again, from the solo journey, you can go all the way back to the honeymoon phase. Or maybe that means we need to make some changes now that we can downsize again, and we can make changes with big decisions of where we want to live, the things we want to do. And then, well, go back to that longevity phase and figuring out different people that can be involved in there is going to be very helpful. So this now can be a great tool for the future, and just a thought process behind it. Well, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Your social network is going to help you through this, and it's going to help you through all the different phases of retirement and the solo journey. But for some of us, we don't have as good of a social network as others. So that's where some of the communities that you can be a part of really help. They provide some of the activities, some of the fun things to do, and you have a lot of different people that you're going to be meeting while doing this. Other of you may actually have a really good social network, and we just want to increase how much time we spend being social and seeing others. So we're not just in front of the TV, we're not just in front of maybe our computer or the games that we like to play. We're out enjoying our time. And just by making a slight change here and moving the dial just by one, that could add 5 years to our motor functions. And that's a vital piece of living longer and living healthy. So the research shows the more we are out and enjoying the company of others and being social, the better off we're going to be. And this is going back to my grandparents, something that my grandmother did. And if you remember, my grandfather retired at 65, passed away at 68. Well, my grandmother lived another, about 25 years after my grandfather passed. So she was in that solo point of time for 25 years. And my aunt was the caregiver because she moved within a couple blocks of my aunt, so it was easy to do. My aunt could take her to the places that she needed to go, the people that she wanted to see, and she stayed very healthy that way up until the time that she passed away. And we attribute that a lot to how active she was. I take a look at this and I get a little depressed. This shows basically the time and age that we're going to peak at everything that we do and who we are. So whether that's physically, whether that is when we are going to be in the Olympics, and I know I'm never going to be an Olympian, even though that's on my bucket list, but I'm never going to be an Olympian. I know that I'm never going to win the Nobel Prize because the peaking of age to do that is 40. But look at some of these other things here. We have physical well-being, our satisfaction with life, our happiness. All of these things peak a lot later in life. Well, if we look at that, if we look at how we are peaking with these things, that's where we can have a lot of fun still. And yes, maybe our physical strength may have gone down. Maybe who we are has changed over the years. But for many of us, that's actually the better. And the more we have those social connections and get together with people, the more we're actually going to keep pushing out that. And that's going to continue to help us with the longevity phase. And it may just be that you live a lot longer than you had ever anticipated because you're enjoying it. So that's a lot of parts about why social, basically being social, the networks that we have are vitally important. So we've talked a lot today. We've talked about those 8,000 days and preparing for the 8,000 days of retirement and what that looks like. We've talked about what we want to do in retirement, and that is the number one thing that we need to be focusing on and thinking about. Because when we have an idea of the honeymoon phase, so where we want to travel, what we want to do, when we have an idea of the big decisions, do we want to downsize? Do we want to move into the city, out of the city? Maybe we want to go to have more land. Well, all of that comes with a price tag. Then we can match it up with everything related to the financials and your financial well-being. And we never want to have just a remote set experience in this part of your retirement. Just putting into something that's static, a financial plan that was done once and never looked at again. This is ever evolving, and that's why we here at Lions Wealth really want to be making changes over the course of time so that we never become static and that we can always be there and making those changes because life changes. Things happen, and the decisions that you make today may be different than the ones that you make in the future. So that's why we always want to be going back to the financials, but in light of those decisions, in the light of what you want to do and where you want to go. So the 8,000 days are just a starting point for most of you. You may have 12,000 days of retirement, and how you navigate that comes back down to those 4 phases that we talked about. So with that, that's why I want to give you a couple gifts with our time today here. This was a lot of information, and your head's probably spinning a little bit about retirement and all the different aspects and stages. Well, we want to go through and provide the gift to talk about your financial well-being. So what does that look like to have a wealth plan that's going to be ever evolving and changing with you? So we will talk through what that means in what we call our second opinion review. Now, this is where we'll go through some of those details that we have put in place with what you want to do and talk through the gaps that exist and strategies to fill those gaps. Now, that second opinion review of your wealth plan and your investment plans will be complimentary for our time today. Now, not only that, you see, we want the wealth plan done after we talk about some of the things that we want to do and things that we want to be focusing on in retirement. So the other gifts that I have for you here. We have a white paper that we have just based upon these 8,000 days. So this is in partnership with MIT and Dr. Joe in creating this white paper here and making sure that you have the thought process, again, to be considering. Now that you have that, we have a workbook for you. And we will send you the digital copies of everything here so that you have it. You can go through all of this and can really start thinking through these stages of your retirement. What I want you to do right now, go to the website here, lionswealth.com/contact. lionswealth.com/contact. Now, on there, what I really want you to be doing now is saying, we have the ability to be talking through all of this, yes, but there's going to be a little point in time for a message section. As you scroll down, I want you to put your contact information, your name, your email, and then in the message section, put 8,000. That's all you need to put, the number 8,000, and we will know that you were on our webinar today. And we will be in contact with you to set up your second opinion review so that we can start talking through the financials. And we will email you a copy of the white paper so you can be talking with your spouse, with your loved ones about this, as well as the digital copy of the workbook so you can be thinking through some of these details in your own life. That's lionswealth.com/contact. And if you put in the message section as you scroll down on the website there, 8,000 into that message section, we will send all of this to you complimentary. Oh, thank you so much for being a part of our time today. I really appreciate everything that we've been talking about. I appreciate having you here and all the fun things that we've been doing. And I really look forward to seeing you in some of our future workshops and webinars as well. Thank you. Enjoy your time. And remember, go to lionswealth.com/contact, put 8,000 in the message section, and we'll make sure we get you all of those free gifts for our time today. Take care.